riding home, and old hypocrite was thinking about them challenges, and all them whining, stinking, thinking thoughts was running around and just complaining. You know, didn't know what was going to do, And I let that old visor down on my side, and that mirror opened up, and there I sat. Big old hypocrite. Yep. Dad always said, you know, we was raised pretty tough, full of love and affection, but there wasn't no whining, right? Whining is whining. And you can complain a little bit, but you need to have a solution, otherwise you're just whining. And that's what I was doing. Big old hypocrite. Just worried about everything. And got to thinking, I'm like, you know what? This time last year, I'd have ran right through there with a pair of scissors. And here I got a push mower. And what am I whining about? So there's part of the pasture. And I went as far as I could this evening. But got some more to do. But isn't that right? If there's a will, there's a way. So we'll get it done. So I had to eat a little cold crow this evening. I've ate crow once before, literally. No joke. It was hot off the barbecue. Speaking of my oldest son, he tricked me on that deal. I always taught my kids if they're going to get out and pleasure shoot, I'm not really big on that. Not when you can shoot targets, but if you're going to shoot something down, you're going to eat it, unless it's a pest. I always out at an old deer camp. He was out there messing around with a gun and shotgun, shot a crow down. So I had to make good on what I told him. I said, well, you need to dress him and eat him. That old black meat, we put it on the barbecue grill out there after we had fixed the main food. And I broke off a little piece and gave it to him. And I took a piece. I was going to be a team player with him. And I took a chaw of mine, found out later he threw his behind his back. So I have ate crow. Well, I didn't swallow it, but I guess it'd be all right in a pinch, but I wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, I ate a little literal crow, or in theory, whining on the way home. You know, Dad brought us up strong and in faith, and I appreciate that. So kind of got to laughing to myself, and Mom's the same way. You just didn't go around sniveling, and sure don't act up in church. We've been reminiscing a lot, and I was thinking we'd go to church, my sister and I, Mom and Dad, back when we was kids, and some of y'all can relate to this and are close to it. And me and Kimberly would jockey about who sat furthest away from Mom. You had Dad and Mom, and then me and Kimberly, I always tried to be on the outside, just out of Dad's reach. Because if you was in reach and you got to cutting up, of course, me and my sister Kimberly always just, you know, goofing off like kids do during church. And without warning, all of a sudden your ear would start turning, and it'd almost take you to the ground. Wouldn't be no sound. He wouldn't even be looking at you. He'd just have his hand reached around Mom, and that old ear would go to twisting. It don't make a noise. You make a noise of going outside. So that straightened you up real quick. I think all of us, if we've lived any length of time back in the good old days, we know what it's like to hit that foyer at Old Country Church, and out comes the belt or the switch, and we get a little attitude correction, don't we? Another story about my cousin, my aunt's only boy. I heard this one today, got me tickled. He was in a real somber service, and he was a little kid, and he was sitting there and real quiet. Y'all know how it could be, and people praying. All of a sudden, top of his little old lungs, he yelled out, "Holla bonehead!" He got jerked up real quick. On his way out, he said, "I meant hallelujah, Mama, I meant hallelujah." It was too late. The switch was coming. The other old boy was on the way out, and the little old kid started hollering out, "Pray, church, pray." Anyway, it's good to have a little attitude correction. I think it does us well. Later in life, you respect authority and understand there are boundaries. And I'll go ahead and say it, unpopular as it might be, that's what's missing these days. The little old red bottom will turn into a good life if you do it right. But I found out since raising kids of my own that it does truly hurt the person giving the spanking worse than it does the person receiving it, for sure. Spare the rod, spoil the child, I guess. Just what it is. I'm not even gonna argue about it. I know it's got out of control, but it's probably anyway. That's another thing. Seeing these, I've been the world's worst talking about hypocrites, rapping about these millennials. And I was thinking the other day, we sure giving them a good example, ain't we? Arguing and hollering on Facebook. What do you expect from them? And so showing a little leadership, they might change up, right? They can only be what they see. Maybe we ain't showing them the right stuff. Anyway, ain't no sense getting in all that. Just read it and move along, right? Y'all see that corn tasseling?